Have you ever wondered how vast the Roman Empire was at its peak? Picture a world where the sun never sets on the dominion of one civilization. A world where the might of one empire extends from the sun-kissed dunes of Africa to the misty highlands of Scotland, the bustling bazaars of the Middle East to the serene vineyards of France. This was the reality of the Roman Empire at the height of its power. The Roman Empire, a name that echoes through the corridors of history, symbolizing strength, organization, and an unquenchable thirst for expansion. From its humble beginnings as a small city-state on the banks of the Tiber River, Rome grew, not just in size, but also in its influence. The Romans were not just conquerors, they were assimilators, absorbing the cultures and technologies of the territories they subjugated, weaving a rich tapestry of civilization that stands as a testament to their prowess. The breadth of territories under Rome's rule is hard to fathom. It was an empire that spanned 3 continents, enveloping diverse cultures, languages, and peoples under its banner. The Roman legions, the backbone of this vast empire, marched with a singular purpose: to expand the frontiers of Rome. They were led by generals, men of valor and tactical genius who would carve their names into the annals of history. But Rome's conquests were more than just territorial gains. They were a testament to Rome's military might, its administrative efficiency, and its ability to adapt and incorporate. Each conquest brought with it new challenges and opportunities, shaping the empire and leaving an indelible mark on the course of history. So let us embark on a journey through time, retracing the footsteps of Roman legions as they marched to the ends of the known world. From the rocky shores of Sicily to the lush valleys of Egypt, from the verdant plains of Gaul to the rugged terrain of Hispania. Join us as we chronologically explore the top 11 territories ancient Rome conquered and the generals who led these conquests. Our journey begins in 241 BC with the conquest of Sicily. As the curtain of history unfurls, we find ourselves amidst the First Punic War, an epic clash of civilizations, Rome versus Carthage, a war that would decide the fate of the Mediterranean. The protagonist of our tale is General Gaius Lutatius Catulus, a Roman military tactician par excellence. Under his leadership, the Roman navy managed to outmaneuver the Carthaginian fleet at the Battle of the Aegates Islands. This decisive victory effectively ended the First Punic War and opened the doors of Sicily to the Romans. The conquest of Sicily was not merely a military triumph, it was a strategic masterstroke that established Rome's supremacy in the Mediterranean. It gave Rome control over the fertile plains of Sicily, known as the Granary of Rome, ensuring a steady supply of grain to feed its burgeoning population. But perhaps more importantly, it marked the beginning of Roman expansion beyond the Italian peninsula. With the conquest of Sicily, Rome was no longer just a city-state or even a regional power. It had stepped onto the global stage as a force to be reckoned with. Indeed, the conquest of Sicily was a stepping stone, a precedent that set the stage for Rome's future expansion. It was here that Rome first tasted the intoxicating brew of overseas conquest, a taste that would eventually lead it to dominate much of the known world. The conquest of Sicily marked Rome's first overseas province. It was a significant milestone in the grand narrative of Roman history, a chapter that set the tone for the empire's ambitious march towards global dominance. Moving forward to 238 BC, Rome sets its sights on Sardinia and Corsica. These Mediterranean islands, rich in resources and strategically located, became the new targets for the ever-expanding Roman Empire. Now, let's take a look at the seizure of these territories. The Roman Senate, playing a pivotal role in the decision-making process, saw the potential of these islands. They recognized the benefits of controlling these key points in the Mediterranean and set out to conquer them. The Senate mobilized the Roman legions, led by talented generals who were trained to execute the Senate's plans with precision. The conquest was swift and decisive. Rome's military might was unchallenged, and the islands of Sardinia and Corsica fell under its rule with little resistance. The local inhabitants were subjugated, their lands seized, and their resources exploited. Rome's influence in the region grew exponentially, reshaping the political and cultural landscape of the Mediterranean. The seizure of Sardinia and Corsica was not without its challenges. There were revolts and resistance movements, but Rome's military prowess and governance quelled these disturbances. The islands were fully integrated into the Roman Empire, their rich resources funneled into Rome's coffers, fueling its continued expansion. These conquests marked another step in Rome's quest for dominance, displaying the empire's strategic acumen, military might, and administrative efficiency. It showcased Rome's ability to adapt and thrive in diverse territories, taking what was useful and integrating it into the greater whole. With the acquisition of Sardinia and Corsica, Rome continued to expand its influence. In 218 BC, Rome turned its attention to Hispania. The Iberian Peninsula, known to us today as Spain and Portugal, held a strategic importance for the Romans. It was a land rich in resources and a gateway to the Western Mediterranean, but Hispania was not an easy conquest. It was the setting of the Second Punic War, a fierce and brutal conflict between Rome and Carthage, the two superpowers of the time. The Carthaginians, led by the formidable Hannibal, gave the Romans a run for their money. But Rome was not to be outdone. The Romans dispatched General Scipio Africanus to Hispania. Scipio was a shrewd strategist known for his innovative tactics and charismatic leadership. He was not just a general on the battlefield, he was a man who understood the art of war. Scipio's campaign in Hispania was a masterclass in military strategy. He knew he couldn't tackle Hannibal's forces head-on, so he used a divide-and-conquer strategy. He targeted the smaller Carthaginian settlements, gradually chipping away at their hold over Hispania. But the real turning point came in 209 BC, when Scipio captured the city of New Carthage, a vital supply base for the Carthaginians. This victory weakened Hannibal's position and gave the Romans a significant advantage. By 206 BC, Scipio had effectively driven the Carthaginians out of Hispania. His victory was not just a military achievement, it was a psychological blow to the Carthaginians. Rome had proven its superiority on the battlefield. The conquest of Hispania was a turning point for Rome. It demonstrated its military prowess and strategic acumen. But more importantly, it gave Rome a valuable foothold in the West. Hispania would become one of Rome's richest provinces, providing it with a wealth of resources and manpower. The conquest of Hispania was a testament to Rome's tenacity and strategic brilliance. It was a victory that would echo through the ages, shaping the course of history. The conquest of Hispania gave Rome a valuable foothold in the West. The year 168 BC saw Rome extend its reach to Macedonia and Greece. The conquest of Macedonia and Greece is a riveting chapter of Roman history, illuminated by the flames of the Macedonian Wars. These wars, spanning over a century, saw Rome transform from a regional power to a burgeoning empire. The stage was set for a clash of titans, and the man leading Rome's charge was none other than General Lucius Aemilius Paulus. Paulus is a figure of enduring fascination, a military strategist with an iron will. He stepped into the spotlight during the Third Macedonian War, a decisive conflict that would seal the fate of Macedonia. Under his leadership, Rome faced off against Perseus, the last king of Macedonia, at the Battle of Pydna. This clash, a showcase of Roman military prowess, ended in a decisive victory for Rome. But the conquest didn't stop there. After subduing Macedonia, Rome turned its gaze to Greece, a land of philosophers and legends. Greece's city-states, their independence long cherished, were drawn into Rome's orbit. Despite their resistance, the likes of Corinth and Athens, renowned for their cultural and intellectual prowess, could not withstand the Roman onslaught. The Romans, however, were not mere conquerors. They were captivated by Greek culture, its philosophy, its arts, and its literature. They absorbed it, incorporated it into their own society, and in the process became the custodians of Greek civilization. The conquest of Greece, therefore, was not just a territorial gain for Rome, but a cultural transformation. The year 168 BC marked the dawn of a new era. Rome, once a city-state on the Italian peninsula, had become a power that spanned from the sandy shores of Africa to the chilly northern reaches of Europe. The conquest of Macedonia and Greece was a testament to Rome's military might and its cultural adaptability. It was a conquest that would echo through the annals of history, influencing the course of Western civilization. The Roman Empire, with its legions, its laws, and its culture, was truly taking shape. The conquest of Macedonia and Greece marked a significant expansion of Roman influence. In 133 BC, Rome conquered Asia Minor. In the heart of the ancient world, Asia Minor was a land rich in history, culture, and resources. Its allure was irresistible, and Rome, with its insatiable appetite for expansion, set its eyes on this land of opportunity. The man tasked with this monumental endeavor was none other than General Manius Aquilius. Aquilius was not just a military man, but a strategist, a tactician, and a diplomat. His approach was as much about negotiation and alliance building as it was about battlefield prowess. He understood that the key to claiming Asia Minor lay in winning the hearts and minds of the local rulers and in playing them off against each other, just as much as in defeating them in open combat. Aquilius's campaign was as ruthless as it was cunning. His forces swept through the region, conquering city after city, territory after territory. Yet, it was his strategic alliances and political maneuvering that truly cemented Rome's control over Asia Minor. The local rulers, once rivals, now found themselves vassals of Rome, their wealth and resources feeding the ever-growing Roman Empire. The conquest of Asia Minor was a testament to Rome's military might and strategic brilliance. It enriched the empire, expanded its boundaries, and amplified its influence in the ancient world. The conquest of Asia Minor further bolstered Rome's dominance. The year 51 BC saw one of Rome's most famous generals, Julius Caesar, conquer Gaul. This was a pivotal moment in Roman history, marking the beginning of a new era of expansion and dominance. Julius Caesar, a man of ambition and cunning, led his army into Gaul, a region we now know as France, Belgium, Luxembourg, and portions of the Netherlands, Switzerland, and Germany. His goal was not just conquest, but to secure Rome's northern borders and to establish his own reputation as a military leader. The Gallic Wars, as they came to be known, were a series of military campaigns that lasted from 58 BC to 51 BC. It was during these years that Caesar faced fierce resistance from the Gallic tribes, led by the charismatic chieftain Vercingetorix. Despite the odds, Caesar managed to defeat the Gallic resistance, and in doing so, he secured Gaul as a province of Rome. The conquest of Gaul was more than just a military victory. It marked a significant shift in Rome's approach to expansion. Until then, Rome had been content to maintain its borders and focus on internal affairs. But Caesar's victory in Gaul sparked a newfound interest in expansion, setting the stage for Rome's transformation into a sprawling empire. Moreover, the conquest of Gaul had profound implications for Julius Caesar himself. His victory in Gaul bolstered his reputation as a military leader, cementing his status among Rome's elite. It was this prestige that would later serve as a springboard for his rise to power, ultimately leading to his appointment as dictator for life. The Gallic Wars also had a transformative impact on Gaul. The conquest led to the Romanization of Gaul, introducing Roman culture, language, and laws to the region. This assimilation would have a lasting impact, shaping the development of Western Europe for centuries to come. Indeed, the conquest of Gaul is one of the most celebrated in Roman history. It marked a turning point for the Roman Republic, setting the stage for its transition into an empire. And it showcased the military genius of Julius Caesar, a figure whose name is still synonymous with power and leadership to this day. In 30 BC, Rome added the jewel of Egypt to its crown. This marked a significant chapter in the epic tale of Rome's expansion, led by the ambitious and strategic General Octavian. The conquest of Egypt was not just a military victory, it was a political and economic triumph as well. Egypt was a land of immense wealth, from its fertile Nile Valley to its thriving trade routes and its vast storehouses of grain. Rome had long eyed this gem on the Nile with a mix of desire and respect. General Octavian, later known as Augustus, was the mastermind behind this conquest. He was Julius Caesar's adopted son and heir, a young man of just 32 when he set his sights on Egypt. Octavian was not a military genius like Caesar, but he was a shrewd political strategist. He understood that to control Egypt was to control Rome's grain supply and thus hold sway over the Roman populace. Octavian's path to Egypt was paved with conflict. He had to contend with Mark Antony, another Roman general who had allied himself with the Egyptian queen Cleopatra. Antony and Cleopatra were formidable opponents, but Octavian used cunning and propaganda to turn Rome against them. He painted Antony as a traitor, seduced by an exotic queen, and Cleopatra as a manipulative temptress seeking to control Rome. The decisive battle took place at Actium, where Octavian's forces clashed with Antony and Cleopatra's fleet. Despite being outnumbered, Octavian emerged victorious due to superior tactics and the defection of some of Antony's men. Antony and Cleopatra fled to Egypt, where they would later meet their tragic ends. With Antony and Cleopatra out of the picture, Octavian claimed Egypt for Rome. He installed a puppet ruler and declared Egypt a Roman province. The grain flowed into Rome, bolstering Octavian's popularity and solidifying his power. The conquest of Egypt signified a new era for Rome. It expanded Rome's borders to their greatest extent and brought immense wealth into its coffers. The power dynamics within Rome shifted, setting the stage for Octavian to become Rome's first emperor, Augustus. The conquest of Egypt marked a significant milestone in Rome's expansion. Rome's conquests, from Sicily to Egypt, left an indelible mark on the world. Each territory conquered, each general leading the charge, each triumph and tribulation, all contributed to the grand tapestry of Rome's imperial history. Let's take a moment to journey back through the key points of our narrative. We started with Sicily, the first significant conquest of the Roman Republic. This island became a cornerstone of Rome's maritime dominance, a strategic foothold in the Mediterranean that set the stage for future conquests. Sardinia and Corsica followed, further solidifying Rome's control over the Mediterranean. These islands, rich in resources, bolstered the empire's economy and contributed to its military might. Then came the conquest of Hispania, a vast and varied region that brought Rome into contact with diverse cultures and peoples. This region not only contributed to Rome's wealth, but also provided some of its most formidable soldiers. Macedonia and Greece, the classical cradle of Western civilization, were next in line. The incorporation of these territories brought a wealth of philosophical, artistic and scientific knowledge into the Roman Empire, forever altering its cultural and intellectual landscape. Asia Minor was another jewel in Rome's imperial crown. This region's strategic location and wealth played a pivotal role in Rome's economic and political stability. The conquest of Gaul, a feat immortalized by Julius Caesar himself, marked a turning point in Rome's expansion. It not only extended Rome's borders, but also showcased the strategic genius of its leaders. Finally, Egypt, the ancient land of the pharaohs, fell under Roman control. This territory's fertile lands and strategic location made it a vital part of Rome's grain supply and further cemented Rome's dominance over the Mediterranean. Each conquest, each territory, tells a tale of Rome's aspirations, its power and its influence. They show us how Rome, through its military might, diplomatic acumen and cultural assimilation, became an empire whose legacy continues to shape the world. The Roman Empire, through its conquests, shaped the world as we know it today. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe so we can continue bringing you more content. Until next time, keep wondering, keep learning.